Starting Escape from Tarkov, it can be difficult in the beginner and intermediate stages when you need to find some cheap gear to use in raid. A great way to counter this is by upgrading our traders and buying cheap gear and ammo from our traders themselves instead of paying the hefty price on the flea market or finding the items in raid themselves. Now it can get a little difficult to upgrade our traders through quests or even through money spent. So today hopefully I'll be able to walk you guys through on how to do some of these quests and answer some questions on traders and upgrading our traders for XP. Earlier today, I found the last piece of my cap container that I've been needing, the Fire Clean Gun Loop. On my Twitch, I have been looking for this for the past 2 days and I found it today. Unfortunately, I did not record the video of me on customs, but I did record me turning it in for the Kappa container, which you guys are probably seeing right now. And if you guys want to hop in the stream anytime, the link is in the description down below. I answer questions on stream for newer players, and we have a decent time with the raids. Hopefully now that I've got my Kappa container, I can play more of my playstyle and on maps that I want to play instead of questing. And yeah, I'd love to see you guys there. Also, just a quick reminder that I will not be going over only how to get your Kappa container. I'm also going to be showing you guys how to upgrade your traders, how to make sure you get that cheap gear. And we're also going to be talking about the Kappa container later on for some of you more advanced players. I'll be giving some tips on how to knock these quests down as quickly as possible, and more importantly, how to get our traders up so we can get that cheap gear to run more effective raids. So yeah, let's get straight into it. Alright, so here we are on the Escape from Tarkov wiki. I'll be using this resource for the rest of the video, so check it out in the description down below. It's the official Escape from Tarkov wiki. So when we're doing our quests, it's important to know what we actually have to do. When we're on the trader page and we're looking through our quests, it is a little difficult to tell what the traders actually want us to do compared to what we have to do. For example, here, Therapist wants us to find the health resort, the pier, and the cottages and survive and leave the area. But I might be asking myself, well, what does that even mean? What does it mean, the health resort? What does it mean, the pier? Where is it exactly? And what map is it on? So back to the wiki, I can just search up the quests that I need. For example, that was colleagues. All I have to do is search up colleagues part 1, click on it, and it tells me with pictures exactly where I need to go on the exact map I need to go. So this could help out some of you newer players that don't want to watch these extensive videos, you know, the 4 to 5 minute long or sometimes even 10-minute long on how to do these quests. It's a quick run through on how to do it. I know that it can get annoying with these quests, especially with the multi-task quests where it's like you have to go to one area and another, and it is a little hard to know where these are on the map. So the Tarkov wiki also does give you a map of where everything is together. So if you guys didn't already know that, that could help you guys out, but I know that doesn't answer a lot of questions, and that's just the beginner stage of tips that I could give. Now the next thing that I'm gonna be going over is very basic, but it does help people out, and I found that this got me my Kappa container really quickly. And it's if I have multiple quests on the same map from different traders, I'll try to knock them out at the same time. Now, what does that mean? So basically, if Prapper wants me to get kills on Shoreline with a balaclava and a scav vest, and Peacekeeper wants kills on scavs from Shoreline with a 12-gauge shotgun, I will take my balaclava and scav vest with a 12-gauge shotgun and try to kill both PMCs and scavs. Now I know that is pretty self-explanatory and you guys would already know and try to be doing this, but a lot of players focus on quests, and instead of trying to do them all together and push them together, they sometimes focus on the individual quests, and that's why it can take a long time with these 200 plus quests. Also, when doing it, it is good to have a plan before you get into the raid. So knowing where you're going to go, where the scav spawns are, searching that up before you go onto the map is a great idea. Obviously, map knowledge will always come into play with these quests, but that's besides the point. You need to know what you want to be doing before you get into the raid. A great application of this will be if I need scav kills on Shoreline, I'll just quickly search up scav spawns on Shoreline and I'll just look through it really quick of a map of it, and I'll put that map on my second monitor while I'm playing, or on my phone if I don't have a second monitor, and I'll just make sure to go run through those spots. Also, I'll make sure to go to the Tarkov wiki and search up each of the quests and organize it so I have to play all the quests on the same map at the same time. For example, if I have 3 quests on Shoreline and 1 quest on Interchange, but the quest after the Interchange one is also on Shoreline, I'll go to Interchange, do that quest really quick, so then I can knock out the 4 quests on Shoreline after my Interchange raid. Once again, pretty self-explanatory, pretty easy. It's not that difficult to put those two together. Now, there is a bunch of quest items that you will be needing to keep, and I'm going to be putting this up on screen with the Tarkov wiki right here. My face cam's blocking it, I'll turn that off now so you guys can see it, but here you go. Prapper, Skier, Therapist, Peacekeeper, Mechanic, Ragman, Jaeger, and obviously Fence. Now these are all the items you're going to be needing to keep It's a good idea to keep these items in your inventory so you won't have to search for them later. Now, I know that does sound like it's not a big deal and you guys will probably not need to do that, but trust me on this, it's very important to have these found in raid because this is how you knock these quests down really quickly. A lot of these quests come right after each other, so that means if I keep these items in my inventory, I can knock out 3-4 quests in a matter of seconds by already keeping these items. And a lot of these items don't even cost that much money. As you guys can see here on the screen, everything that's highlighted in green needs to be found in raid. It's also important to remember that you could craft some of these in your hideout, so you won't exactly be needing to keep them. For example, the morphines can be crafted at med station level 2, but as you guys can see under Peacekeeper, the propane tanks, they can't be crafted at all, so you want to be keeping those in your hideout. Also, there are some quests that aren't necessary and you do not need to actually keep some of the items, and I'll be going over those shortly at the end of the video. Now, let's talk about how to get our money up on our traders. You know, sometimes from traders that we don't necessarily use that often, for example, Peacekeeper level 1, we're not buying a ton off. It can be a little hard to get to that 10,000 or 15,000, 13,000, whatever mark we need to get to the next trader level. We might knock out all the quests, but we still need to spend some extra money on those traders. So actually, what I do with Peacekeeper, especially Peacekeeper level 1, is, as you guys can see here, there's not a whole lot you could buy. Sure, there are some guns and some modifications you could be buying, but to be honest, there's not a whole lot. So what I like to do is I'll buy these Berettas, and yes, this is going to cost a ton of money. What I do is spend the money on dollars first. So for example, I would buy like $1,000 and that would knock off $1,000. It is important to remember that $1,000 does cost 126k rubles, so this will cost you a ton of rubles. In return, you'll be getting dollars though, so you can spend this for later Peacekeeper levels. You know, I'll spend the money like that, but for Peacekeeper, what I find the most effective is I'll go actually onto the flea market and I'll search up SSDs. So when I'm trying to level up Peacekeeper, what I'll do is I'll go towards the SSDs and I'll try to buy them for around the 35k mark. As you guys can see, it's going for like 41k right now, but for the sake of the video, I'll show it off on Peacekeeper. I'll buy it from the flea market and I'll sell it straight to Peacekeeper for around $315. And if you usually get it for 35k, you will be making more dollars than you'll be spending rubles. But if we go to the dollars themselves and we check it out, let's say 35, 1, 2, 3. And if we check it out and we look at how many dollars I just gained, I gained $315, but I spent 40,000 rubles. As you guys can see, I lost like 2,000 rubles, but if you get these for under like around 35k, you'll be making a little bit of extra money. So be sure to look on the flea market for SSD drives. Try to buy a bunch of them in bulk for cheaper than 40k and resell them to Peacekeeper. And in turn, you'll be making a little bit more dollars than if you were just to trade them up straight up. And you'll still be getting that additional dollars to buy the Berettas. So I keep talking about the Berettas. Let's get to the Berettas. What I like to do is I'll click on the Berettas. I'll buy like 10 of them. As you guys can see, there's $1,100, and you will be losing money by doing this, but it will double up. So basically, I'll buy the Berettas, 1,100. I'm just gonna buy like 5 right now to show it off. $551. Then I'll sell them straight back to him for $250. I'll be cutting by half, but I'll be making $750 towards Peacekeeper, plus the additional dollars that I spent to get to the Berettas to buy. It might not make a lot of sense at first, but once you do it enough times, you'll see the pattern and you'll understand what I'm trying to say here. You will be making double the progress by doing this instead of just by buying the dollars and then trading the Berettas and then not selling them back or using the Berettas themselves. When you sell them back, you'll be doubling up your profits. It will cost you a little bit more, but it'll be faster. And this goes for around all of the traders. So if Peacekeeper, I do SSDs, for example, but for Jaeger, I'll do shotguns, and I'll even do antique axes off the flea market. So if we search up axe, as you guys can see, the antique axes do go around for 55k. I'll buy an antique axe. So the antique axes go for 55k. I'll sell it to Jaeger, and then he usually gives around the same price. What you could also do is you could buy, let's say you have level 1 Jaeger, you could buy some of these SKSs or AKM VPOs, especially because they cost the most, or even the MP133 shotguns, and you could sell it straight back to him because he does take more for rifles and shotguns. Jaeger is a little bit of the harder ones because he doesn't really sell or buy much. He is a little annoying to level up. But for the rest of them, you shouldn't have much of a problem, especially for Therapist and Mechanic. You should be using those all the time, and you should be getting those like pretty normally. Prapper and Skier might be a little harder, but you could sell them attachments and grenades for Prapper, and he usually does take those. Flash grenades are a great one to sell to Prapper because, you know, what else use are you going to have of those? All right, so now let's talk about why are we even doing these quests? So these quests we could be doing to max out our traders to get to level 40 and get some cheaper trades for like MP7, for example, costs a ton off the flea market. Once you get level 40 with mechanic level 4, you will be able to buy the MP7 40 round mags for 13k, as you guys can see here, which do go on the flea market for around 90 to 100k. So you'll be saving a ton of money on the MP7s. This is just an example. There's a ton of different other guns that you could be using. And yeah, ultimately you'll be getting better kits and you'll be spending less money. So, you know, why wouldn't you want to do some of these quests and knock out some of these challenges? All right, so now for more of the advanced players, let's talk about some of these quests that we're not actually going to be needing to do. And let's talk about what we do need for Kappa. So all you're going to want to do is go to your character and go to your tasks. And as you guys can see here, I've knocked out all the quests that I've needed. I already have my Kappa container. But usually what you'll notice a trend is all the quests up at the top are the ones you will be needing for Kappa, and the ones towards the bottom you will not necessarily need. Now, sometimes it does mix up and it's not a cut way. The best way to know what you do and don't need for Kappa is anything that requires you to give to multiple traders. For example, one of the quests you have to go into factory and grab a letter, and you have a choice of either giving it to Prapper or Therapist. Any quest that requires you to give it to either or, you will not be needing for Kappa container. Also, some of these quests on screen right now, hunting trip, regulated materials, the stylish one, colleagues, samples, and hunter. These are great examples of some you will not be needing. There is longer lists, but these are some of the harder ones that I haven't done. And I think these are some of the most common ones people won't be doing if they're going for Kappa. For example, kill 100 times. You do not need to do that to get your Kappa container. Not even a lot of people complete that quest, and it is a hard one. And the people who do, you gotta give some respect to, because that is a hard quest, not to mention it takes a lot of time. Also, some of these newer quests that were added with like the Sanitar update, for example, samples and colleagues that are on Shoreline, you will not be needing to do. And the ones that come after that, colleagues part 2, colleagues part 3, you won't be needing either. It is a pretty good idea to do it if you can. You know, if it's easy, why not do it? It does give you extra XP and gives you some extra items. And with that XP, you'll be leveling up quicker and then leveling up your traders quicker. But it's not necessarily needed for Kappa. And you could get to your max traders without doing them either. And yeah, those are just some basic tips that I could be giving. There are some more specific tips and I could go more into detail. So if you guys have any questions about specific quests that you're stuck on or you need help with, for example, I know that like Shooterborn in Heaven and the guide are some hard ones. If you guys have any questions about those, please let me know in the comments. I can't get through all of it in just one video. So hopefully this did help you guys out and give you a little bit of what you need. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully this helped out, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.